What's good, guys, and welcome to the next episode of Race Coverage. Today we have the main man Ryan back. How
You're
how
right.
how you doing, Ryan?
Yeah, not too bad, man. Glad
Good,
to be back.
good. And we have Dom again, of course. How you doing, Dom?
Hello. Hello. Good, thank you.
Good. Well, I guess we just start off with the previous GP that's just gone. How did we feel about it?
I feel sick, to be honest. It was an awful race. Nah, I'm only joking. It was very good viewing. It was very, very good viewing, but it hurt.
Well, now you know how I feel after the opening race.
Yeah, of course. What about that? Yeah, I thought it was. I actually really enjoyed this race. I thought it was very good. Like Ryan said, I think there was like 20 laps in the middle that were kind of a little bit boring, but the start and finish were both really good. I'll come and ask you, why did it make you feel sick, Ryan? You being a Ferrari fan, I guess you were, like you said, sick to the stomach of seeing Sainz another spin out, another DNF. Surely he's got to be
Yeah,
frustrated.
I mean, in the moment, I was frustrated with him because we've obviously not seen as much as we'd hoped from him yet. But ultimately, it wasn't his fault. Yeah, I have to put it down to bad luck,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was unfortunate to see Charles's first mistake of the season, but who can blame him?
Yeah, he was a little bit greedy, wasn't he?
I think they wanted to put on a show for the home fans, and yeah, potentially got a bit greedy.
Apparently, that last pit stop was just them being aggressive because in their minds they were thinking, oh well, we're gonna get P3 anyway, and if we pit, then Perez will have to pit, so we might get a bit closer and might be able to fight a bit, and then the same thing happened as in the opening stint where Perez just pulled away, and then Leclerc took every inch of curb he possibly could of that chicane.
Yeah.
I didn't
Right.
realize that Red Bull were going to have to react to it, to be honest. Can you explain to me why they had to pit?
I I think I think Ferrari assumed, well, they were thinking, well, even if they don't, we'll still get the fastest lap. It's fine. But I think uh, I think in Red Bull's mind, they didn't want to be caught in a situation where like Hungary and like Spain from last year, where they might get, if the conditions were right. Imagine if Verstappen and Perez don't pit, and then Leclerc hunts them both down. I mean, that's a bit, fanciful, but that's the risk if you leave Perez out. And then what if he gets a puncture because they've been on those mediums since the transition to dries?
Yeah, fair play. It just didn't occur to me in the moment that that's something that they would have to do. I thought it was just Ferrari going after the fastest lap point, and that was that.
I thought that was that was that as well. I thought
Didn't
that's
seem
why.
didn't seem at that point that there was any fear of Ferrari taking anything other than third.
Yeah.
It just seemed like they wanted that fastest lap point. So I was surprised when both the Red Bull drivers came in as well.
Because even Charles said in his interview that that's all the car could do that weekend was get third, as in the race. That was kind of all they expected from where they were.
I found that in of itself surprising because first practice, sure, it was quite wet. But that Ferrari was like Leclerc and Sainz were miles ahead of everybody else. And going into quali, I was like, oh well, it's just going to be another 3 tenths. It's just going to be another Ferrari 125 tenths. And then that quali was honestly one of the best qualies I've ever seen in my life. It was an
Yeah,
amazing quali.
it was very eventful.
If you said to me at the beginning of the weekend that Verstappen, with nothing else happening, Verstappen would get pole, I'd be surprised. But then if you said Verstappen would get pole by just under 8 tenths, whilst he slows down just before the penultimate corner for Bottas's stricken Alfa Romeo, I wouldn't have believed you.
He said Verstappen slam dunk.
Oh, so that leads me on to my fun fact. So
Right. In that case,
this
I think I know the
this
fun.
is this is only the second time in history where there's been two Grand Slams
In a row.
in a singular season.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Singular season, full stop. The last time was in 1979, and it was Gilles Villeneuve and Nelson Piquet Senior. I'm pretty sure.
That's wild.
That is fun.
It's fun.
That is
It's
very
fun,
fun.
isn't it?
Very fun.
Thank you very much for your fun fact, Tom.
And I'll be off. Thanks for having me.
Going off that, I think Ryan. I think Lando Norris deserves a stand-up applause from yourself because I know you're a big fan of him.
Yeah, no, it was a good drive.
Yeah, it's a great drive.
So, I thought McLaren hadn't made any upgrades yet. I thought they were running the same car that they were at the start of the season.
They've made small upgrades, right?
So what? Yeah, they've only ever brought small upgrades. So what I've been hearing is that obviously going back to the testing, they had a nightmarish second test where just nothing went right, and Ricciardo got COVID. So coming into the first two races, they didn't know how to settle the car in any way, shape, or form. And I think that's representative of the first two Grand Prix because they just turned around to themselves and went, well, we're going to have to just do data gathering for the first two races. So seemingly, I was under the assumption that they were dead and buried coming out of the second race, but it's going to take a long time for them to get anywhere significant, even with rapid progression over this season. But it seems that car is genuinely decent.
Yeah.
Like it's genuinely near the Mercedes and near the Alfa Romeos. And Australia wasn't just a one-off because coming out of Australia, we'll turn around to ourselves and go, I even said, it's just track specific. I'll slide back originally. But maybe this is where the car is. Maybe this is a good demonstration.
Yeah. And Ricciardo did the good sportsmanship thing and he apologised to Sainz, didn't he?
He did understeer. He couldn't have understeered more into him, and he took a lot of curve as well.
Yeah,
that was a big shame because I don't think Carlos deserved that. I mean, sure, he had a bad quali, but he did make up for that. He did what he could in the sprint. He got up to fourth. That's the most you could have asked for him. And then, so a driver who's also not having a good time of recent. And takes out a driver who's definitely not having a good time of recent.
Yeah, it wasn't great to see. Well, I was gonna go on next and talk about Mercedes. Oh, this is the we'll go on Mercedes. No, let's talk about Mercedes first. Actually, Mercedes first. Russell, another great drive. He's finished like top 5 every race. Considering where the car is, seems to be doing really well.
He's doing an amazing job.
Yeah,
I'm enjoying watching Russell drive.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely amazing job. Yeah, definitely. It's like Ryan said, it's genuine. After so many years of him trolling around at the back and putting Matt Williams in places he didn't deserve, it's really refreshing to see him at the front. And maybe not this year because of the troubles they're in, but next year Mercedes could be at a point where they are challenging. And then we're already having fireworks with Max and Charlotte fighting for the title. Imagine if you throw Russell into that.
Yeah. And it's not far. That's not actually too outrageous to say either. From the standings, is he still second? Yeah, he will be.
Yeah, Perez third, Russell fourth, and then Verstappen's only ahead of Perez by 5, and then therefore ahead of Russell by 10. It's just to show how good a job Russell's doing.
Yeah, agreed. And it was obviously unfortunate. It was unfortunate for Hamilton because he was in like a DRS train for time with Gasly and I can't even remember who the other one was. So he couldn't really do much. But I
thought for the last few years I would enjoy seeing Lewis Hamilton do badly, but I genuinely felt bad for him because I don't think he's driving any worse than he was. I mean, sure, maybe not to the standard of last year, but I don't think it's not like he's dropped off a cliff or anything. He just can't set up that car, and he can't drive a car he can't set up. So I genuinely felt bad for him watching every lap, not being able to get close to Gasly in the braking zone. I genuinely felt bad for him.
Yeah, it's not great to see 7-time champion sitting at the back both races. Well, first race, he luckily got third, but other than really performed.
Whilst his young teammates pushing for the podium.
Yeah.
What do you think that is coming down to at the minute? Do you think it's the fact that Russell has more experience, like fighting the midfield, or do you think it's genuinely just pressure for Lewis?
I think for Lewis it's still the car, because he doesn't know how to set that car up, and I think that's reflected by, like he says, it's undrivable. Lewis Hamilton can drive any car in the world as long as he knows what to do with it. If he doesn't know what to do with it, then no one's going to be able to drive it. So I think he doesn't know where to go with it. Mercedes globally are having bigger issues. Like Russell's still getting these great results and it looks like he's just binned it on the first lap after every interview. Like he looks heartbroken of the situation. So I think it's just sorry, go on.
Did you hear Toto coming on the radio to apologising to Lewis for the car?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I mean, like Nico Rosberg said, it's a lie, and well, not even necessarily a lie. Like he's not wrong, but it's not all down to the car. Lewis has to take some kind of blame in that.
No, exactly.
But I don't think you're going to get a good Lewis Hamilton by him coming on radio going, "We'll discuss this after." Like this wasn't a good race for you. Like he's one of those. He's like as much a confidence guy as you could find, and they're not going to get the best out of him in a difficult situation if they don't lie to him over the radio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there was one question that I wanted to ask you both, and we'll go into it now after talking about Mercedes. Why is it? Yeah, it's not even where you've got like Russell doing well. So you've got plenty of teams that there's like one driver doing well better than the other, in the sense like Russell did really well, Hamilton did bad. You've got Magnussen doing really well in the Haas, Schumacher doing bad. You got Tsunoda had a great drive, Gasly doing bad. Why do you think that is? What is it like? Some people have just gotten used to the new cars a little bit better, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the adaptability of the drivers. I think some of them are great in one car and some are better, kind of not better overall drivers, but they're able to quickly grasp a new car.
Yeah. Well, we kind of seen Gasly not adapt to a new car when he went to Red Bull, right? And then so maybe that's kind of showing in this new regulations that it's going to take him a little bit longer to actually adapt to this new car.
I mean, it's a lot of things, but I still think it's so close in that midfield. Like the last 4 races we've seen almost 4 different midfields behind the Red Bulls and behind the Red Bulls and Ferraris rather. And I think it almost seems to just vary weekend to weekend. And like Ryan said, it comes out to it attests to consistency and exactly where your car is on that weekend. Like the AlphaTauris were nowhere, and Tsunoda in the sprint, Tsunoda did decent, and then in the race he did even better. And then Gasly gets trashed into by showing the first lap of the sprint, and then you can just see how those weekends can diverge. Like they go straight into one's having great time of it, the other one's just having a Chernobyl.
Yeah,
and I think that like I said, it attests to consistency and how close the midfield is behind Red Bull and Ferrari.
and I guess it does go down to how you're feeling on the day. Do you know what I mean? If you've had a bad weekend, you might not drive so well. Do you know what I mean? It goes with most things. Like you got to be anything in life. You got to be confident, and if you got the confidence behind you, you'll always do better. So maybe like the weekend and how your weekend's actually started might affect you on Sunday.
Oh, definitely. Like getting to the race or even to quali, it's an evolution. Like you're building yourself up with that car, with that setup, with that track, with those conditions on the day. You're building yourself up and you're building that self up. And if you get an unpredicted event or something outside of your control that just assassinates that momentum, it's going to be even more difficult to reclaim it. Like just look at Hamilton. Like he had a bad sprint, he had a bad quali, he had a bad sprint, and then going into the race, he waits to pit onto. He waits during the transition to pit, and then all of a sudden he has to slam on to let Ocon through because he's been unsafely released into him. And from there, and then he's stuck in the middle of the DRS train. So there's no way up. There's no way. There's nothing he can do. Like even with I don't think anyone at the end of that DRS train, because it was him, then Gasly, then Albon, then Ocon, then one or two, then a few seconds up the road was Stroll. I don't think anyone's breaking out of that, especially in a race where there is only one pit stop. That is the stint for the rest of it. So I think, I just think it comes down to how your weekend's going, like you said.
Yeah. Poor Alonso, man. He gets no luck, does he? How did that happen? I must have not been watching for 2 seconds. Oh, right, okay.
Because we don't see it initially because we just see Sainz and Ricardo in the gravel, and then when they showed the replay, I was like, just before they showed the replay, I was like, why the hell is Mick Schumacher in 17th? Go through it, and he crashes into Alonso. He knocks Alonso, and then I can't remember what comes first, but he gets onto a puddle on the exit of the second corner and then just slides round. And I can't remember whether he goes into the puddle because he hits Alonso, or he hits the puddle then hits Alonso. But Alonso did not deserve that. No. Undoubtedly, did nothing. And like you said, it was amazing last weekend in quali and would have done something. And this race, I still confident. Yeah, he definitely would have been able to do something.
Yeah, agreed. He's had some very bad luck.
What did carry on? I'm about to change.
It was even worse with Alonso because he had the new floor as well. But they brought a new floor upgrade and they didn't even get to race it in an actual race.
How did you feel about watching the DRS free driving?
I think this race shows that we need DRS. It was nothing happened without DRS, did it?
There was an interesting start to the race, very interesting start, but then it kind of fell into a train.
Yeah, it got a bit processional. But not that that's a critic. I don't think the race was boring in any way, shape, or form. But when it settled down into no DRS, everyone's on the mediums. If you're not ahead, you're in a DRS train. I think, I agree. With that, sorry, say that again.
Having said that, the overtakes that did happen without DRS were thrilling to watch because they were proper overtakes.
Proper racing, yeah. I thought it was very fun to see at the end where Bottas was trying to come back. He was trying to catch up to Russell. That was one of my key highlights.
Love Bottas this season. Driving the hell out of that Alpha.
Yeah, and
I appreciate, like I said last time, I appreciate Joe the rookie. He's doing Joe about the place in quali.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
No,
Bottas has always been good in quali, hasn't he? Ladies.
Maybe we're all being vindicated, and maybe we're all being proven wrong in the sense of maybe we should have just laid off Bottas a bit, considering he was Hamilton's teammate. Because all of a sudden I'm thinking, only he was in a really good car. But wait, he was in a really good car, and he didn't do anything with it.
Oh, he did loads of it. I hate when people say that. If anyone else got the sort of points and results that Bottas got, it would have been amazing.
But I mean it in the context of winning the World Championship. That's why he's there. Mercedes might not be, might not letting him in where he wants to be, and whether he's and he said in interviews he doesn't feel great about. He feels obviously very result at Mercedes. Still feels bad for the championship, but that's part of the package deal when you're at Mercedes. You've got to beat Lewis Hamilton. If you don't, people are gonna look down the nose upon you.
I'm trying. Nothing else happened. Alpine didn't really do anything.
Aston Martin.
Aston Martin. Yeah. They've got double points, didn't they? Stroll
Yeah,
and Vettel.
somehow.
Yeah,
He was
somehow.
shitting all over them when Ryan was away last.
Yeah, it was. They've been terrible, though. They have been terrible. That AM car is
Yeah, they've been
terrible.
so
Vettel
terrible.
has been... well, no, sorry. Actually, sorry. No, I take that back, actually. Vettel, he's been
Yeah.
off, came back. He had a terrible rough start to his comeback from COVID. But no, he drove pretty well in this race, and I think Stroll did pretty well as well.
I can't even criticise Stroll this race. It was a decent drive with that Aston Martin.
Yeah.
But he's been so bad for the earlier races of the season. I mean, I appreciate where that car is, but I was saying to people privately that I thought Stroll was going to be able to prove what he could do in decent machinery, but emphatically proves wrong on that. I mean, I know he's in shit machinery, but you know.
Yeah, no, it's it's nice to see, actually, not strange. It's nice to see that every team scored a point, which is good to see.
Really satisfying.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. That is cool.
Yeah. That's kind of showing these regulations they've brought in, but
so thanks to was it Ted that leaked that Williams are interested in Piastri?
Yeah. Sorry, I'll shout out over your point then, but yeah.
Say that again, Ryan.
That'd be much better. Yeah, say it again.
I didn't hear what you said. I just wanted to hear it for my.
Ted leaks that Williams are interested in Piastri.
Oh right, okay. And I'm guessing that's to replace Latifi.
That is what you would assume, yeah.
Yeah.
But that would definitely be the natural assumption.
Yeah, and question for you, because I don't know this: Can you change drivers in the middle of the season, or do they have to drive the whole season?
Tom?
Tom?
I didn't know. I was going to let Ryan answer that, but that's fine. I think you can do what the hell you want, really. It's all contractually based, so
it's not.
It's not like a registration thing. I mean, obviously, the only kind of formal requirements is that they have the super license and so they've been demonstrated that they have the means to drive an F1. But if you want to put someone as a team, go ahead, buy them out of their contract, or utilize a break clause in their contracts if you want. But you're not stuck with them for the entire season.
Right. Okay, that's interesting.
Red Bull make good.
That was a better line you've got. Go on.
Red Bull make good use of that one, especially Mr. Marco.
Did you see what Helmut Marko said about Lewis after the race?
Yeah, he probably should have retired.
bit needless. You could see the smugness in his face when he said
funny.
that.
I don't like him, but I almost respect that he just says what he wants. It's not really hard, is he?
Do you think?
He always comes across to me. Sorry, he always comes across to me. Tiny bit of a poor man's Niki Lauda, though.
Yeah, but I think that's kind of. It's almost F1's version of like an eccentric old man. I don't know. Like they just love the
Piers Morgan.
Privacy. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, the roles aren't really comparable with Lauda and Marco, but the guy knows how to spot talent. To be fair to him.
Question is, do you think Hamilton does retire after this year? Do you think it's done with?
No. He said that he sees a future in F1 past his current contracts. So
right, okay, and he stays at Mercedes, or that's not something any of us could answer.
Oh yeah, I could see. I don't think anything's off the table. I could definitely see if this form continues, Mercedes and Lewis kind of mutually falling out of love, not with any suggestion of malice, but understanding that maybe their time has come to an end, because he's been there 9 seasons. He's been there since 2013. That's a long time to be anywhere. So I wouldn't be surprised if he wants something new.
Where does he go though? And it's just like for Lewis Hamilton's sort of status and where he is as a driver and who, like, you know, the ability he's got as a driver, where does he go? Like, Ferrari have just signed. Well, like, yeah, I know. Once upon a time, I think was Hamilton gonna go to Ferrari, or that never happened. I watched like some interview or some YouTube video about Lewis Hamilton getting asked a question about going to Ferrari, and it never happened. But that's the only team I kind of see him going.
They had a little love affair towards the end of McLaren. Apparently, he wasn't going to go to Mercedes. He was going to go to Red Bull to be Vettel's teammate.
Oh, wow.
I know. Innit? Imagine that.
Yeah, that is very strange. Imagine that. So, end on that note, let's go to the next GP, which will be Miami, which is the first race in Miami. Very exciting. What's the predictions? How do you think it's going to go, Ryan?
I think it's, despite the track not looking too inspiring, I think it will actually be one of the most exciting races yet, just because of where the standings are now. I think there's a lot to play for every team. I can't really think of a single team that's not in some sort of battle right now, whether it be constructors or drivers. So,
True.
I think it's going to be a good race.
Yeah, that is exciting. What do you think, Dom?
I'm going to be... well, we've got to that time of year where I'm going to say Max Charles contact.
Yeah. It's got to happen at some point.
And that's going to part the sea for Norris's first win.
I'd love to see that. My boy. My star boy.
Absolutely not happening.
I'd like to see Ricardo be competitive in this race. That's what I'm seeing. That's what I want to see. Don't know if it will happen, but all my info comes from interviews. But I was watching an interview with George Russell, and he said one weekend, I can't remember what weekend it was, but Ricardo actually looked really fast in qualifying. So I want to see that in a race. I want to see him be competitive because he's done nothing yet.
It does seem for the first time in over a year that he has actually got to grips with the car he's been given. I'm excited to see how it goes for him.
Same.
I've got a controversial wider prediction for this season.
Go on.
I think Ricciardo isn't going to be at McLaren next year.
Right.
Because I think if it continues like this, he's slowly edging into Lando backup territory.
Yeah.
Especially after last year, and if the trajectory of this season keeps on going, whilst Ricciardo's not been bad this season, and in the sense that he's not been far behind Lando, I just don't think that he would accept that. And I think McLaren would be fairly ambivalent at the end of this season if Ricciardo turned around and said, you know what, I don't fancy sticking around to be this kid's backup.
Yeah.
Do you know what's wild? I don't know why I have this, why I think this way, but I would think it'd be the other way around. Considering he's moved teams from teams, he's kind of found his place at McLaren, and surely at some point he has to accept that he has to accept where he is. No.
Yeah, it's not if McLaren want him gone, then.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. No. If McLaren want him gone, that's fair enough. Then see you later, mate. You've had your time, yeah, but thank you very much. See you later. But
I mean, he dropped Alpine pretty quick.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he did it again. And I don't think anyone wants to accept that number 2 status unless you're kind of sharing a role with like Lewis Hamilton or Verstappen or Leclerc, even Van.
Yeah, no. That makes sense. It must be hard being that second driver, seeing your teammate kind of perform and kind of not so much perform.
I still think he could get back on to Lando's speed. I think he might just pull it out of the bag. And I don't think McLaren inherently prefer Lando at the minute. I think they just prefer him because he's the faster driver right now. So I think if Ricardo can pull something out, which I think he probably still can, then I think he's got longer there than you might think, Dom.
Oh yeah, no, I don't mean second driver in the sense of that's where McLaren want to put him. In the sense of just pace, because
Yeah.
pace will dictate who's number one and who's number two inevitably. And I don't think Ricardo will want to stick around flogging a dead horse if it continues going badly this season. But equally, I don't want to see that happen. I want to see the old Daniel back. I want to see him. I want to see 2021 Italian Grand Prix Ricardo.
Yeah.
Well, my prediction for Miami is I'll plan. Fucking hell. Alonso's gonna come back from all his unluckiness he's had, and he's gonna have a great qualifying. He's gonna have a great race, and I see a podium for Alonso. Maybe not a win, but I definitely see a podium. And then probably Max will win again. On a high. Red Bull looks so fast at the moment. Even Perez looks really good. And I think Charles will want to come back to pick up some points that he left at Emilia Romagna, if that's how you say it.
Emilia Romagna.
That's the one. That's my.
You have to say it in front of you. Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, that's my Miami prediction.
I'm gonna go for Sainz rage comeback to take a win, followed by Leclerc, who is holding off Max.
I'd say double DNF for Charles and Max through contact, and then bets are all off after that. Chaos after that.
Nice. Sound all very exciting. That should be a good race. I'm forward to it. Do we have any races coming up that we like one after another, or is that very rare?
So we've got another gap after Miami, and then we've got Spain, Monaco in 2 consecutive weeks.
Nice.
Monaco soon with these cars. We'll see.
Exciting.
Yeah, see whether Monaco does stay on the calendar after these regulations.
Yeah, it'll be good. I think we can wrap it up here. Thank you very much for listening to the race coverage. Thank you for the support in the Discord as well. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We might have a little special episode next week. It's not confirmed yet. We're sorting stuff out, but I think you guys will be very happy with what we got coming up next episode. So yeah, thank you again for listening.